Hi there, Taurus. This is a relationship reading for May 2019. I'm Raina, and as you can see, there's a very strange pattern of light here, and that has to do with the fact that it's morning, and I don't know, it's hitting my table in a very unusual way. So I notice that when I do readings in the summertime, it's perfect at a certain time. I think it's like around this time in the morning. It's like really nice. But since it's still April as I'm recording this, I guess it's a little bit different. Okay, I'm just shuffling the cards. This reading is intended for people who are already connected to somebody in a love relationship or have broken up with somebody and are still wanting to be with that person. Now, understand that that doesn't necessarily mean that that is a good desire. Okay, so we are looking at this from the perspective of just what is going on, not how it should be necessarily. Okay. And by the way, too, when I'm talking about being connected to somebody, there is it's for people who are unhappy in their relationships, not for people who are happy. There's no reason to, worry about your relationship and say, oh, is it going to always be this way? If you approach life that way, you're creating the anticipation of something negative. So that's not what you want. And you have to be detached. You can't cling to whatever it is that you enjoy in this moment and fear losing it. Then you're never happy, because even when you get what you want, you're still afraid of losing it. So anyway, the heart of the matter is the Nine of Swords. This is a card of insomnia. I often comment upon the Nine of Swords. That almost seems like kind of redundant when I compare the Eight of Swords to the Nine of Swords. But I guess there are differences in the sense that the Eight of Swords is about feeling oppression, and the Nine of Swords is more of anxiety. But to me, they're almost similar in that sense as well. But I guess with the Nine of Swords, there's more of a sense of autonomy, but there still is some sort of anxiety. The Eight of Swords is like not being able to even move forward at all. So, by the way, I didn't know that the kids go to school this early. I thought it was like around 8:20 or something. So I'm hearing some yelling out there. So hopefully it won't be too disruptive. So you're feeling that sense of apprehension, that sense of anxiety, and this is, as I think Esther Hicks was the one I heard say, your GPS system, your emotional GPS system, that is telling you how it is for you. And what do people tend to do? They tend to, ignore it because they don't want to make a change, especially a fixed sign like Taurus. No, I don't want to uproot my life right now. Everything is kind of cushy except for this relationship thing that's going on. And until it isn't okay, until it gets to be at that critical mass where you feel like you can't do it anymore. Like you've just, because, the number 9 is a completion number. I've seen 10 as that as well in the tarot, but numerologically the 10 can reduce to the 1. So it's, I'm sure there's, it's either or, but definitely 9 is that type of a number, coming to that head, so to speak. And so all of the anxieties that you've tried to kind of shove under the rug have come to a head, and you have to deal with that regardless. In the past position that may have been leading up to this moment, we have the Three of Cups. This could indicate womanizing. I'm saying womanizing. It could be a female. They don't have a female version of that. I wouldn't say something like hoeing around because, you know, that not to be some kind of a raging feminist, but when we say womanizing, we're not calling a man a whore. You know what I mean? So I'm making that distinction. But anyway, the point is that this is a card also that can be of like partying too much. And so let's look at it from that angle, not even necessarily cheating. But you can apply that to cheating too. Let's say that you have been trying to hope for the best with a partner's substance abuse problem, and you just realize it's not getting any better just because you've been trying to be supportive. Those are the kinds of things that lead to anxiety because you feel like no matter what you do, it's not working. And when something isn't working, then you have to be the change agent. You can't sit there and wait for the other person to change. Actually, that's true 100% of the time, is that whenever we're waiting for somebody else to change, what we're really doing is waiting for ourselves to change. And sometimes that involves surrender. It means not giving up, not saying I quit, but saying I surrender, which is kind of a spiritual thing. It's trusting in the universe. It's knowing when you cannot you know, force things, when knowing where your power begins and ends. That's that serenity prayer in AA. You know, the strength to know the difference between what I can change and what I can't change. The higher message is the Five of Cups. Now, you know, it's funny. I don't know where I saw this. I read so much. I think it was online. But it was like about drinking with the cups. You know, like how drinking problems are expressed through every cup. And, you know, I'm assuming with the Three of Cups, it's kind of like that idea of camaraderie, hanging out with your friends, celebrating, and that can turn into something more, you know, excessive, because if you do that all the time and you have that excuse, oh, it's Friday night, you know, let's go out and get drunk. But the Five of Cups would be more of the sense of like, I am in grief, so I'm drinking because of that. Now, if we're talking about this, excuse me, particular situation, I'm assuming we're talking about the person that you're with. And basically what I think that's saying is that there is depression underneath the surface, maybe of that levity. That person, it's not that they're trying to self-medicate, in other words. They're trying to feel better. And the problem is, until they solve their depression, which is probably a repression, in other words, they are not, or a suppression, they're not doing something that they want to do, or they're doing something they don't want to do, and that's causing them to feel a conflict inside, not aligned in their life, and then they're using that as an escape mechanism. So that's one of the reasons why it continues, and why you are feeling in this sense of anxiety, because you think that it's a simple thing of getting somebody to stop drinking. And even like womanizing, or what can we call it besides womanizing? Cheating. But it could be like, with the Three of Cups, it's like multiple, like maybe even a sex addiction in some cases. But there's a root cause. It's not, you know, people focus on the pathology and they don't focus on the cause, just like in a lot of other areas, instead of focusing on the root cause of it. So you may be, the other thing too is that you're feeling this sense of maybe loss because it's a loss of a dream, and that is keeping you rooted in place. And it's not so much the ego, it's just that feeling of disappointment that may be kind of affecting you at the moment. What crosses you is the Two of Wands, and this is a card of, not being able to decide which direction to go in, feeling that sense of indecision, and that comes when you may not have it all figured out yet. This could even be about relocation. Excuse me. And that's to be expected, because there may be a lot of things going on in your life. You may have children. They're just, it's not that easy to decide. But with the wands as the two, or the crossroads, the issue should be about what is, giving you joy in life. And there was this book. It sold many copies, so a lot of you have probably heard of it. It was about how to organize your house or something. I can't remember the name. But she was saying, how do you decide to get rid of something as if it brings you joy. So, I think her name is Marie Como. You probably know who I'm talking about. And that's what you should be looking at. Does this relationship give you enthusiasm, or does it actually depress you? I mean, with the Nine of Wands and Swords in that center position, it seems like this relationship is actually creating a sense of negative energy. And this is the kind of thing that can keep you up at night. And being kept up at night means that you don't get a good sleep. And I have been experiencing that recently, and that can lead to not feeling your best during the day and not making good decisions because you're foggy. So all of that is interconnected. And if you're somebody who is grieving the loss of somebody who may have left you, I mean, maybe that's what the Five of Cups represents to you, you need to decide whether or not, maybe that person will come back or has come back, and you had gotten over that person to some degree. Maybe you were still grieving a little bit, and now they're starting to contact you again, and you're deciding, should I go back to this person? Well, chances are, if other factors cooperate, that person could easily be a narcissist, and that's when they come back, when you finally have gotten over them. And so be very careful about just blindly going back to somebody just because they were the one who supposedly rejected you. Don't, be that easy that you will go back with no questions asked. And especially if nothing has changed, that doesn't make any sense. Excuse me about me clearing my throat all the time. It's pretty early, still in the morning, and I haven't been talking extensively, so. The advice is the Ace of Cups. And this can also be sometimes what is coming in. This can be like a card of like, but I think this is the card of potential. If you take the advice of this card, which is, nature abhors a vacuum. So if you, are able to leave a relationship that is giving you anxiety, you make room for new love to come into your life. And that is going to be a new relationship that is coming from the heart. The cups are connected to your emotions. And therefore, it's the best kind of relationship. I mean, well, maybe I shouldn't put it that way, but I think it is in terms of a love relationship, because ideally you should feel great affection for the person that you are getting involved with, I would think. But, you know, people have their own reasons for why they want to be with another person, I guess. And then I got another card as the outcome that is also associated with beginnings, which is the Page of Wands. So this is a card of excitement. I told you about that Two of Wands. Maybe this is with a fire sign person. Aries, Leo, that's a big one for you, and Sagittarius. But anyway, this could be the birth or the beginning of a relationship with somebody where you feel that sense of excitement, where you, after 10 years, after 20 years, the person walks in the door and you're glad to see them at the very least. But you can't wait to tell them something, you know. Page is about messages, about good news. So it's about communicating something positive. And the Nine of Swords is about communication, actually, through the swords. But it's, what kind of communication is that? It's something that is actually negative, anxiety producing. And I always say to myself that I think it's great to be somebody who other people are glad to see, you know, that you leave them in a better mood rather than someone that, you know, you bum out, you know. So I think that Taurus, I want you to really think about these cards and what they represent in your life. And what your relationship is supposed to be, not what it is and what you think it should be based upon how you grew up or how other people you know, what kinds of relationships that they have. There's no reason not to want the best out of life, even in your relationships, especially with your relationships. Why am I saying even? Especially with them. Okay, that's what I have for you, Taurus. If you would like a personalized love reading, and in those love readings, I do the tarot, but it's primarily using your natal chart. Please check me out at rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below for that type of reading or other types of readings. And I hope you have a great May. Take care. Bye.